Of course, at the same time as wasting all our money on hopelessly inefficient renewables, Bowen has been out there disparaging the one energy source with zero emissions that we actually do have a potential abundant supply of. Here he was on Q&A last year trashing nuclear.
I can't think of a worse fit for Australia than nuclear energy. It's extraordinarily expensive. We don't have a nuclear industry in Australia, so we'd be starting from scratch.
What a joker. Until recently, we didn't have a renewables industry either. We started that from scratch. We don't have a green hydrogen industry either. We're supposedly starting that from scratch. Everything this bozo is doing is starting from scratch. Even the kids spotted that sleight of hand.
The cost of nuclear is clearly highly contentious. And you know what the best way to find out the cost of nuclear energy is? It's to lift the nuclear energy ban, because at that point, you can actually see nuclear reactors, what they will cost, because at this stage, no company is able to propose for nuclear reactors to be built in this country.
Yeah, that was 17-year-old Will Shackle, who was on here on Outsiders, winning over the tough Q&A crowd and stealing the show from Bobo with a dose of common sense. But Will's not alone. Over at the Centre for Independent Studies, the talented Miss Zoe Hilton ripped into Bowen's shocky pea and thimble clown act and tore it apart.
Energy Minister Chris Bowen loves going on and on about how expensive nuclear energy is and how cheap renewables are. And the media loves repeating this message.
It's extraordinarily expensive.
But where did Minister Bowen get this from? It all comes from the CSIRO's annual Gen Cost report. The CSIRO decided to exclude large-scale nuclear from their analysis and only include small modular reactors, or SMRs. Now, this might seem a bit odd, given that large-scale nuclear is a proven technology used in more than 30 countries worldwide, while SMR technology is still under development. In fact, the CSIRO based their SMR cost estimate on a single cancelled project and erroneously included financing costs, which they did not include for any other technology.
Well spotted, Zoe. Great work. So which clowns decided not to include the most basic nuclear energy of them all in their Australian energy costing report? Our chief scientific body, no less. Here's Paul Graham, chief energy clown, sorry, typo, chief energy economist at the CSIRO, which is itself an almost perfect anagram for circus, explaining why large-scale nuclear energy, which is relied on and used in over 30 countries, as Zoe said, around the world, was not included in the CSIRO's energy costings report. What a farce. Roll up to the CSIRO circus.
So we had some face-to-face workshops in 2018 with industry groups, and there weren't any nuclear experts at those workshops because it just wasn't, I don't think it was just on their radar at the time. Large-scale nuclear isn't the right size for Australia.
The CSIRO's decision to exclude large-scale nuclear was based on a workshop they ran 6 years ago in which no nuclear experts were present. Because why consult an actual expert when you can rely on the opinions of renewables, coal and gas investors?
Remember, we taxpayers fund the CSIRO circus to the tune of billions of dollars. As Zoe points out, they hardly fill one with confidence.
In order to maybe do a large-scale nuclear, there's a few things we'll have to work through. This question of whether it is appropriate size for Australia, and then if you thought it was, how would you come up with an Australianised number? A couple of things that we'd have to think through, so we'll do some more thinking on that.
Heaven help us, as Tony Abbott tweeted in response to Zoe's excellent video, quote, "The recent omission of large-scale nuclear from the CSIRO's energy costings report not only undermines our nation's ability to affordably reduce our emissions, but further justifies the public's declining trust in government institutions." Well said, Tony. You can, of course, find Zoe's full video on the Centre for Independent Studies website. Just go to CISI CIS.org.au, and why not sign up for membership while you're there? They do an amazing job at the CIS. Oh, and did I forget to mention, at the same time as Bobo and Al Bozo are running around spending squillions on batteries and electric vehicles and solar panels and all that schmozzles, yep, these are the clowns determining the energy future, the prosperity and the standard of living of this country. I say, sack the lot of them. Oh, and by the way, if the clowns at the CSIRO had bothered to do any research, they would have discovered, as the excellent Joanna Nova points out on her Jo Nova blog, the French built a large-scale nuclear reactor in just 7 years, way back in 1976.